Yeah, guys, I have exciting information to share with you, and that is to tell you that Australian government have introduced a new visa today, the 7th of December 2024, and that visa is the skill in demand visa, subclass 4A2, which is replacing the temporary visa. So today I want to share with you information on how you can apply for this visa. Yes, this is, like I've said, replacing the temporary skill shortage visa. Okay, so I'm going to be taking you through the process of applying for this visa from beginning to the end. And the good news is that today the core skill stream or the skills, the list of skill has been released. So this visa is called the skill in demand visa, subclass 4A2 core skills stream. So this allow you to stay in Australia for a number of years, and eventually you become a permanent resident in Australia and continue to live with your family, and can also lead you to becoming a citizen in due course once you qualify. So I'm going to take you through this, and I'll show you the step-by-step process and all you need to do to achieve this. Remember, this has just been launched to the sea. On December 7th, 2024, which is today, the skills in demand SID visa replaces the temporary skills shortage TSS visa. All TSS nomination and visa application lodged prior to the implementation of the SID visa will be processed using the requirement in force at the time the application was lodged, so you don't need to bother. But for new visa, it has to be the SID visa. If your employer has lodged a TSS nomination and you have not lodged your associate TSS visa application before 7 December, if the nomination is approved, it will be it will be deemed a SID nomination, and you can lodge an associate application for an SID visa. So this is the update, and I'm going to show you. Number one, for SID visa, you can stay up to 4 years, but for those with Hong Kong passport, you can stay up to 5 years. And the processing time, for this visa depends on certain criteria, but you can also look up this place to see the information. But this is within 8 weeks, and thereabout, all depending on your capability to provide all document. Okay, yeah, and with this visa, you'll be able to work in Australia for up to 4 years or 5 years, depending on where you come from. And you can travel to and from Australia as many times as you wish. And if eligible, apply for permanent residency and, of course, for citizenship. So you can check out information for permanent residency, and you can see the conditions and check the eligibility. Okay. For eligibility, you must be nominated to work in an occupation, okay, on the core skill occupation list, which is the CSOL. You must have at least 1 year relevant experience. Your nominated occupation. You must have a relevant skill assessment. Without skill assessment, you won't be able to do this. Okay. You work only for a sponsor or associate entity unless you are exempted, okay? And there are English language requirements. So these are information about the overview. So you can see, if you want to see more details about the visa, you can come here to see the cost of the visa, um, what you can do with this visa, which I've stated, how long you can stay with this visa, I've already stated, and if you want to stay longer, what you need to do, and you can include other family members, and this the form where you can apply for this, the processing time, and every detail information. So you can just go through this to see. You're gonna be spending about 3,115 Australian dollar to apply for this visa, and for each dependent who are under 18, you have to pay $780 additional. And you have to pay the cost for English language test, health check, police certificate, and other things. So you need to keep that in mind. And for how long you can stay, I've already stated that. And if you want to stay longer, then your employer will need to submit a new nomination, or you must apply for a new visa as well. You can apply from outside of Australia, okay? Or whether you're in Australia, so that is fine. And if you're applying from inside of Australia, you must hold a substantive visa or a bridging visa or a bridging visa B or bridging visa C, okay? Yeah. And the processing time varies, but usually this will take you about 8 weeks to get this visa nominated unless it's been fast tracked. So for eligibility criteria, the age details for this, there is no age requirement. So which means at any point in time you find a job in Australia, you can actually get this visa, okay? And you need to be a holder of appropriate visa if you're already in Australia, okay? But if you're not in Australia, then that's fine. Then yeah, yeah, you need to be nominated by a sponsor, okay? Because the sponsor is the one who, probably an employer who has already offered you a job, is the one who will nominate you for this visa. On your own, you won't be able to be nominated, but your employer must also have nominated you to fill an occupation specific on the CSOL. If I hit up this, you're gonna see other occupation on CSOL. Okay. Now you can see the CSOL. You can see the occupation here. There are so many of them. In fact, what I understood when I researched is that there are more occupation in the CSOL than it used to be in the previous TSS list, those that were qualified to apply for TSS. So this means that it's a great advantage as well for you to apply. So you can just see them. There are too many of them. I can't just go through all of them. Now I will be going back to the main tab where we were. So next, you would also need to know work for your nominated employer. If you are going to work for another employer, then you won't be qualified to take this. Okay, yeah. So you also need to have relevant skill, qualification, and employment background to perform, the occupation. And you've worked for your nominated occupation at least 1 year and you have a positive skill assessment. Then you need things like health insurance, you need medical check, police character. You also need to have good English language command, which you're gonna prove through your exams, okay, and all that. So those are the stuff you need, and you need to sign Australian value statement. And these are the step-by-step procedure which you need. And first things you need to know certain things before you apply. Um, Before you apply, you need to be nominated by your prospective employer. You have to check your passport is still valid. You get your skill assessed, organize your English or take an English exam, get your health certificate, and get help with the application if you require. So the next thing you gather your document, and once you've gathered your document, then you apply for your visa. Okay, and the next thing is after you apply, there are certain things you need to do to prepare to move. And once you get a visa outcome, then you can move to Australia. But then I would like to show you this. Your documents you need to provide accurate information, your documentations, identity document, which could be your passport, skill and occupation documents like your evaluation, your English language proficiency, your health insurance, and character document from the police, partner document if you're going with partner, dependent document if you're going with dependent, but they must be below 18. And for those over 18, there are different documents also. And then if you need a help, you want to use an agent, you can also let them know. Then you prepare all these documents. So those are the process to apply for this. Once you have a visa, check your travel documents. You must ensure they are valid, okay, before moving. Because sometimes what happens is that people come travel and they just realize that their travel document may be having lesser time than it should. For example, let's say it's going to expire less than 6 months and you just realize you're stranded. So those things you have to do. You need to make inquiries about which airport you're gonna use, and where you're gonna be. I mean, who's gonna pick you up, your accommodation arrangement, all those stuff. Because even if you have a genuine intent, without those information, you may be turned back, okay, from the airport or at the airport. So it is good to know all these things. You have your documentations at hand, know where you're gonna be, which company you're working for, have the offer letter, what is your salary, exact amount, not just like a guess, and all of that information is very important anyway. So there are many other things here in this website which you can look up to. But the good news is that Australia have just introduced a new visa which I have just shared with you today, and it means that if you are able to get a sponsor, you can actually apply for this. Then it's gonna be a plus for you. Okay, yeah. So that is it. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I hope that this video helps you to move to Australia for those who are really planning to move to Australia, especially those who have gotten job offer too. This will be a plus. So if you're interested in this visa, maybe you should hit up the job offer fast, more often than you do before. I mean, job applications. And if you do this and you're selected, then you will be able to apply for subclass 482, which is the skill in demand visa, which has replaced the temporary skill shortage visa. Okay. So, guys, temporary skill shortage. Yeah. So, guys, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that this video meets your needs. Cheers.